not your own. Commandment 9, thou shalt not bear false witness. And we covered the coveting. She shattered the commandments. You begin to understand when you break one. Yes. Who is your God? Why are you not in church? Why don't you study God's Word? Why is it you haven't read a book from Ellen White in 15 years? How is it you cannot defend a fundamental teaching of the church to which you were born? Because other things occupy our time. And so we donate 2 hours a week to God. That's the midday service, because we always come late. And we call that a relationship with God. And then we want God, when He comes, to give us all of heaven as a reward for 2 hours a week out of 168. As a reward for total ignorance of His Word, we want heaven. As a reward for putting career, family, boyfriend, whatever possessions ahead of Him, we want heaven. I don't mean to be harsh. I have to keep saying that. I've been told I am. But I'm a nice man. Say amen. Amen. Listen to me. Make up your mind tonight, 25 to 8. Who is your God? Who or what directs your life? Whose voice directs your life? If it's not the voice of God, change your gods tonight. Amen. Live by the voice of God. As we said last night, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God, not Satan. Is God your God? Jesus says, behold, I stand at the door and knock. Revelation 3:20. When He knocks, we're supposed to say, what do you want? And Jesus says, keep my commandments. When Adam sinned, consequences affected the physical world. Listen to me carefully. The ground was cursed. Genesis 3:17, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Now the ground became difficult to till. That's the result. Sin affects now the physical world. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth unto thee. Plants began to bring forth thorns. Verse 16, Genesis 3. I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children. Because of sin, a physical change took place in a woman's body. Childbirth became agony. Why am I saying that? Because you see, the law of God, the 10 Commandments, the moral law, they are the foundation of the entire law system in the universe. So if they are violated, every other level of law suffers. Did you follow me? Let me say it again. The foundation of God's universal government is the 10 Commandments. When they are violated, every level of existence suffers. Because when the foundation shakes, the whole structure comes down. So when Adam and Eve sinned, particularly Adam, trees changed. Leaves began to fall. How come? A tree is not a moral thing, but it was affected by a moral lapse. Because the moral law is the very heart and soul of the universe. Because it is the very heart of God. Amen. So animals became wild. And after the flood, God had to put the fear of man into animals, Genesis 9 verse 2, to prevent them from just eating them up and destroying them, because only 8 people came out of the ark, and the animals that multiplied in the ark. So God put the fear of animals into man. Prior to that, there was no need for that, before sin. My brothers and sisters, the foundation of God's universal kingdom is his law.
Amen.
Which is his heart. When Adam violated that law, the entire intergalactic cosmos, ecosystem, everything affected. And today, the same thing happens. We violate God's law. The earth is polluted. There's global warming. Every area of existence, every level of being is deteriorating because the law, the moral law, has been disregarded, broken, disrespected, spat upon, particularly by those who claim a relationship with God. Who is your God? Who is mine? Tonight, you and I can leave this place with the assurance and the certainty that the God who stood on Sinai and said, "Thou shalt have no other gods before me," we can leave with the certainty he is our God by a recommitting of the life to him, by giving ourselves, placing ourselves under his beneficent rule, his law of life, his law of blessings. You know, last night I told you the book of Deuteronomy is divided into 3 main sections. Chapter 1, verse 1 to chapter 4, verse 43, which deals with the deliverance from God, the travels, and they're called to obey God, avoid idolatry. Then from chapter 4, 44 to 26, 19, all the civil and moral statutes. And that section is subdivided into 2, 5 to 11, the 10 Commandments, 12 to 26, laws guiding prophets and priests and kings and war and the feasts and purity and worship and all these things. And then, of course, the last section, 27:1 to 31:30, the blessings of obedience, the curses of disobedience. Let me close the book as a sign that I am closing. Is the God of heaven and earth your God? Is the God of creation your God? If he is, then you must have already decided in your heart, I will obey his every word. When Jesus turned water into wine in Cana of Galilee, the mother of Jesus, Mary, said to the servants in John 2 verse 5, and what she said to them is for us, because she's dead and they're dead. We need it. Whatsoever he saith unto you, do it. You don't have to study Hebrew, Greek, Aramaic, Akkadian, Swahili, or English. That is too simple and too easy. Whatsoever he saith unto you, do it. And God has said one thing to all of us, which is, love me. Then he says, here's how you love me. This way, and here's how you also love me. Here's how you treat your fellow man. He has given love. That's what I want. Then we say, how do I do it? This way to show it to me. That way you also show it to me by showing it to your fellow man. The 10 Commandments. By the way, the law written in the Bible has no power. And I'm closing. But the law in the Bible, just words, it's a form. The power is Christ. Can you say amen? Amen. So when you look at the 10 Commandments, what are these things? What's this? When a person obeys it perfectly, what does the person look like? What's the answer? Jesus Christ. If you're an architect, you draw plans for a building. And someone who can read plans, they see the bedroom, they see the bathroom, am I right? In those plans, they see where the wires go. They see everything that makes a house, but you can't live in it. Then you go to the actual house that's built, on the basis, and you say, now that can benefit you. You can live in that house, you can shelter, but that house in which you can live is the same thing